Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are unpacking an incredibly fascinating, highly structured blueprint for literally one of humanity's greatest ambitions, which is colonizing Mars. Now, a lot of what we usually hear about Mars focuses heavily on the rockets, the fuel payloads, planetary orbits, the physics of it all. But the source material we're looking at today takes a completely different approach. It presents a conceptual organizational framework designed to actually get a functional society off the ground. We're going to look at the foundational architecture of this proposal, which the creator breaks down into what they called the three legs of the mission to Mars.
But before we look at those three legs, we really have to start with the core questions staring us right in the face. Why aren't we on Mars yet? I mean, it has been decades since humanity first stepped foot on the moon. We literally have rovers driving across the Martian surface right now as we speak. So what is the actual holdup for human colonization? Well, according to the creator of this proposal, the real blockers holding humanity back actually aren't about literal rocket science or a lack of technological capability.
The source material identifies two massive structural roadblocks that are currently halting humanity's progress to the red planet. First up is a lack of political will. Think about it. Getting governments to align, agree on funding, and actually sustain their focus on a multi-decade space colonization effort, that is incredibly difficult. And the second roadblock is intrinsically tied right back to the first one, a lack of financial resources. Building an interplanetary society is astronomically expensive. Pun absolutely intended there. These are the two giant hurdles that any successful Mars mission has to clear. Okay, let's dive into this. To solve these two massive problems, the creator's three-legged stool framework is proposed as the direct solution. Here is our agenda for today's explainer. 1. The hurdles to Mars. 2. Leg 1, Earth Embassy. 3. Leg 2, the fleet. 4. Leg 3, ticket contracts. And finally, 5. Solving the Mars equation. Section 1. The hurdles to Mars. So let's briefly set the stage for how the source material addresses these structural hurdles through a really unique organizational approach. As we just established, politics and money are the big barriers. So how on earth does a mission circumvent the gridlock of global governments and massive funding deficits? Well, the source material breaks the solution down into three distinct pillars that must function perfectly together. And I really want to lean into the source's central metaphor here. The creator explicitly states the mission to Mars would not work if any one of the three legs were not present. Think of this blueprint exactly like a three-legged stool. If you're missing just one leg, or if one leg fails, the entire colonization mission collapses under its own weight. Every single component is entirely dependent on the other two to survive and function. Section 2, Leg 1, Earth Embassy. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the major conceptual twist it introduces. When you hear the word embassy in the context of a Mars mission, your brain probably jumps straight to some futuristic dome sitting in a red crater, right? Well, actually, scratch that. Here's the twist. The Earth Embassy is an organizational community located right here on Earth. It is not a physical building already sitting out there on Mars. The proposal outlines that this mission intends to ultimately create a government for itself on Mars, sure, but it starts entirely on our home planet. The Earth Embassy serves as this massive hub to organize resources, technology, and information. It's also the official body that will liaise with Earth's existing governments. But its primary, immediate goal is to become as economically self-sufficient as possible while still right here on Earth. The whole idea is that the colonists will use the knowledge and practical experience they gain running this self-sufficient community here, and then they'll pick up that exact operational model and transfer it directly to Mars. Section 3. Leg 2, the fleet. Let's move briskly into the second leg, which serves as the logistical and engineering backbone of the whole mission. So an embassy alone obviously can't physically move people, and while you might assume the fleet just means the rocket ships themselves, the source material details that its responsibilities go far, far beyond simple transport. Yes, the fleet organizes the technical aspects of creating the spacecraft, it does the engineering planning, and it gathers necessary information for the colonists. But it actively provides daily earthly support for the Earth Embassy residents long before launch day. The fleet is responsible for training the colonists. It operates the mess halls, it runs the healthcare system, it even manages the educational facilities. It's basically the life support and infrastructure system for the colonists while they are still living in the Earth Embassy preparing for the mission. Section 4, Leg 3, Ticket Contracts. So the crucial point is coming up, and we're going to slow the pacing down a bit here because we are entering the most detailed and critical leg of them all, the financial mechanics. So how do you pay for the whole shebang? This is the number that makes the entire mission possible. $1 million. According to the blueprint, every single person admitted to the Earth Embassy must enter into a ticket contract. To get a seat on that spaceship to Mars, every colonist must commit to buying a ticket for exactly $1 million. There are 0 free rides. This is entirely how the capital is raised to fund the fleet and the massive colonization effort.
Now, I know what you're thinking. How on earth does an average person come up with $1 million? Imagine paying off your own ticket to another planet. Well, the source outlines a very specific 2-pronged approach for members to fund their journey over time. Step 1 is a direct payroll deduction. A specified sum is just withheld from the member's paycheck and goes directly into their ticket account. Step 2 involves negotiated annual returns. The money sitting in that ticket account isn't just static. It's earning an annual return based on a rate that is negotiated right when the ticket contract is signed.
Let's look at how this compounding math actually works over time to get colonists to that $1 million mark. Because to put that into perspective, it's actually incredibly powerful. The source provides a great example. In the early years, most of the money comes from the payroll deduction. Say $40,000 from a paycheck, plus maybe $2,000 in returns, making year 1 $42,000. But fast forward to year 15. Let's say a colonist now has a base account balance of $700,000. In that 15th year, if they pay $50,000 into the account through their payroll deduction, the negotiated return on that large $700,000 base might be $35,000. So in year 15 alone, the account grows by $85,000, bringing the compounding total to $785,000 by using both payroll deductions and investment returns. That $1 million ticket becomes a totally mathematical reality. Section 5. Solving the Mars equation. And this brilliantly illustrates how everything comes together. So how does this framework come full circle? The creator's conclusion perfectly maps the 3 separate legs back to the overarching problems we introduced at the start. Problem 1 was the lack of political will. The blueprint argues this is entirely solved by the Earth Embassy's model of self-selection. Because the community is made up exclusively of individuals who actively choose and contractually commit to go to Mars, you completely eliminate government gridlock and political apathy. Everyone there wants to be there. Problem 2 was the lack of financial resources. This is solved by the ticket contracts. By requiring 50,000 self-selecting individuals to fund $1 million accounts, the mission generates the massive financial wherewithal required for the fleet to actually design and implement the spacecraft and infrastructure. Which really leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative question. Is this 3-legged stool sturdy enough to actually get humanity to the Red Planet? Does an Earth Embassy, a support fleet, and a $1 million ticket contract truly bypass the traditional roadblocks of space exploration? Now, the creator of this proposal openly admits that this short introduction likely raises far more questions than it answers. In fact, they note plans to create an initial batch of 60 videos just to address the myriad of remaining issues surrounding this really bold proposal. But it absolutely forces us to look at interplanetary colonization through a totally different lens. Not just as a problem of physics, but as a problem of community organization and economics. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I will catch you in the next one.